Thank you, friends, shalom, and greetings to you all. How was your Halloween? Did you go disguised as who you are or who you want to be? You know, it does not define you. You could change, and you do many times, while in this or any other lifetime. Did you take a moment to honor the animals and pets of your life? The true teachers and guides who are there for us in our darkest times, the true angels of God. And beginning this week, we begin to see and read about those incredible beings, angels, the messengers of God. We see the first this week. We see a lot more next week. And this is a week of congratulations. Congratulations to Bibi. The people have spoken once again. And it's Ellen's birthday. So congratulations, Ellen. We hope it's a wonderful year for you, when you get to enjoy your family, your grandchildren, all those who love you and who you love. You know, birthdays come. Birthdays go. But there's just one thing you ought to know. You'll always have a special place in my heart. Yes, you will. And it's been there from the start. Yes, it has. So let's all come together, as we are wont to do when we come together as a group to honor and pray and observe as a community, a collective consciousness of seekers showing faith, any and all faith, love, any and all love, a true chavura of fellowship, expressing our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes, unites us all in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach, sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay. Even though together we're individual in our approach, each connecting in his or her or their own way. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody to know. Some physically, some digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually. Any way you want to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov, come together. Hine Matov. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. You know, we support each other in this community, so let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside just a little bit of sacred time in your own sacred space to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in, because we all believe in something. It's a part of your kavanah, your intention that you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill. Goodwill and intention are the roots of what you control, of what you can correct. It's your intention that sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives, my friends. And motion is required for anything to take place. Let's take some time now. Let's use that intention. Let's send some of that goodwill, some light, some healing out to whoever you know that needs it. Healing and renewal for everybody. It just floats through space, finding those in need. So send it out for those you know, for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love, or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It's for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world, the tikkun olam. It's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. We have to help heal the world. It's not something we complete. It's an ongoing task to be dealt with in this lifetime. It's for every lifetime. We must each do our part. We must each do what we can to improve and change our own little corner of the world. So we change ourselves. We change our conditions. Part of that healing of the world is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everybody. You don't have to be sick. It's for those in our hearts and our minds. So let's all send out energy for the people in need everywhere. Special thoughts and prayers for those undergoing surgery or special care. We all know somebody like that. We pray for those who need prayer. We don't have to know them. We want health, recovery, good life for everybody around us. Even for the Satans in our lives. They just might not know any better. So let's send renewal and goodwill and healing for Fern and Doria, for Johnny and Peter, for my dear friend Cornelia, for Sandra and Martin, for Shelley and Gloria, for Kay and Luke, for Kiera and Tony, and their whole family who've lost their matriarch, their rock, their beacon in troubled times, and for those suffering and in need everywhere. Let's not forget to include those familiars of our lives, all of our sacred animal friends, for everybody you know in need, for the whole world, and for that honeybee Devorah. Friends, it is the kindness, the healing wishes, goodwill, and love we all send out. It just circles the world finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit, my friends, never dies. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say, Yesha, let us all have our spirit renewed. This is the great prayer for healing. We should call upon God to heal us as He healed before. Yesha, may He who blessed, because all healing is a blessing. Let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to care, to share, to grow. Our cosmic Bible ended when the gods dispersed man at Babel and confounded his language and ability to communicate, and therefore his ability to get along. Yes, my friends, our ability to get along is connected to our ability to communicate. When we can communicate well, then we can understand each other. Even today, our goal should not be to be understood, but to understand. Be active, proactive. Do not put the onus on another. Take it on yourself. When you understand, there's nothing you can't communicate with and nothing you can't do. The central law that governs everything is love. It is truly the glue that holds this fragile universe in place, but love is difficult for many. So maybe focus on understanding instead. Who knows? It might be easier for some, probably for most, but it too does take effort. Now, perhaps the golden age that so many ancient societies talked about was that pre-tower time, when all men and all animals and all life spoke the same language and had harmony. Now, this week a major shift takes place. 10 generations from Noah, we're introduced to a family who will now dominate the rest of the Bible. The family of Abraham, and we know they don't get along. The father of the Western world that has dominated us for thousands of years. This week we begin to read about a family as we read lech, lecha, go, you go. Now the repeated double infinitive, we're going to see it again in the Bible, means instructions. Not just go, but you better go. Well, where was Abraham going? No one knew. He didn't know, but he listened to that deep, still voice within the voice we all hear. Oh, where have you been, my blue eyed son? Where have you been, my darling Gellman? I've stumbled on the side of 12 misty mountains. I've walked and I've crawled on 6 crooked highways. I've stepped in the middle of 7 sad forests. I've been out in front of a desert, dead oceans. I've been 10,000 miles in the mouth of a graveyard, and it's a hard, and it's a hard, it's a hard, and it's a hard, it's a hard rain gonna fall. And this individual is told, gather his wife and belongings and leave. He didn't know where. And when we wonder where is he to go, we find out. Genesis 12:1. To the land that I'll show you. That's some instruction. Now that takes faith. We know nothing about this man. Genesis 12:4. And Abram went forth as the Lord had spoken to him, and Lot went forth with him. Abram being 75 years old when he left Haran. And Abram took Sarai his wife and Lot his nephew, and all the goods they had gotten and the folks they had bought in Haran. They set out on the way to the land of Canaan, and they came to the land of Canaan. He's not a young man. He's old. He's in his 70s. Packs up his wife, his goods, his nephew, and off they go. They reach their destination, and as will happen several times, challenges arise. otherwise. Tests will be made. Last week we read about Noah. His was the first story of faith. Instructions to build this giant box, instructions to load it, instructions to pack up his family. All done. No questions. This week's introduction to a particular family, which will dominate the rest of the Torah, is also a pure story of faith. Now remember, faith was not the same to biblical man as it is to modern man. And this book was written for 6th or 7th century before the Common Era man. They knew we believe or try to. There's a difference, a huge difference. For us, it is faith in. But to them, it was faith that. They knew it was going to happen. Now, those opening instructions to Abraham will once again be given by God to Abraham next week, this time when his son is with him. And friends, when last I spent a few months in Jerusalem, I did the journey we're going to read about next week, when God pointed out the mountain. I've walked that journey. I've stood where Abraham stood when God pointed out Mount Moriah, but I'm getting ahead. We'll talk about that next time. We're being told that elderly Abraham is going to pack up everything and follow a voice. All these stories this week are the establishment of backstories in the life of Abraham and Sarah, the first patriarch and matriarch in Judaism. For that alone, they need special stories. Pay attention to the journey from Ur in Mesopotamia to Egypt and Jerusalem. This geographic description depicts what would ultimately take shape as a great kingdom. As we read the story of faith, with Abraham following the word of God, it makes us question also, was it faith or unbelief? Precious Savior, under the sun, how was I to know you'd be the one? Show me I was blind, show me I was gone. How weak was the foundation I was standing up on? Now the spiritual warfare, flesh and blood breaking down. You either got faith or you got unbelief, and there ain't no neutral ground. Now if he had such faith, why did he build his life on a throne of lies? That's not talked about very much. He would probably also risk being canceled today because he was a slave owner. But I'm sure he didn't know any better over 4,000 years ago. It was just the way. So how would he know differently? And the treatment by his wife of this Egyptian slave who was actually also his wife is shocking. Let's not talk about it. How are you going to talk negatively about the patriarch and matriarch of Judaism? Now, as I said earlier, we see the first real angel stories of the Bible. Now, the first is when Sarah, in her inability to give Abraham a child, tells him to marry her slave Hagar and have a baby with her. Right? All of these things just point to the fact that humans are humans. They're not the nicest people at times. In Genesis 69, it's presented as the first annunciation scene in the Bible. And the Lord's messenger said to her, "Look, you'll bear a son. You call his name Ishmael, for the Lord has heeded your suffering." And Hagar bore a son to Abram. And Abram called his son whom Hagar had born Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. Hagar's a slave, property of Sarah, not her maid as is often presented. She was given to Abraham as a wife, not as a concubine, Genesis 16:3. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar the Egyptian, her slave girl, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and she gave her to Abram, her husband, as a wife. Therefore, Hagar's progeny is a legitimate son, actually the legitimate firstborn son. Now, so far we've seen God's promises made, our promises kept, to Abraham for children and to Hagar for the survival and thriving of her son. We read this story during the high holidays, just like we read next week's story during the high holidays, because these are essential. Now, the key players all had faith. Hagar had faith. Abraham had faith. Pharaoh, who we see briefly, even had faith in what was right. And Abram's faith We'll be tested next week in the penultimate Torah reading of Judaism. Yes, my friends, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish, celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light, and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everybody, and end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we're a community. We learn together. We celebrate each other. We love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. Let's all send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do. Learn to forgive and learn to love, including yourself. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life to those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy the journey. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Now bless you all. Have a fantastic week, a week of love and light, a week of peace, a week of miracles. Examine your intentions, use them to imprint your will on the universe, because we set in motion everything that happens in our lives. It is our intention, our kavanah, our cause, our effect. Everything's linked. As I've said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad. So acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged. Ask forgiveness. Do so with sincerity, accountability, vulnerability. Forgive those you've hurt. As you learn to be forgiving, compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance, my friends. Can you accept yourself, other people, and the world just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? Because if you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. It is your home. Keep on dreaming. Keep on being. Keep sharing. Keep shining. Keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear. Follow love. It's always in front of you. Remember to have faith. Just as I have faith. The principle of love in all of you. Act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none. Defraud none. Hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace in this year. May you nurture kindness and love everywhere. Work to be present in the body, expand the heart, quiet the mind. Because the deepest source of real power lies in your consciousness, in your ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. So make the most of your time in this life. Continue to touch and transform lives around you, because you're never alone. You're forever blessed, and you have the ability to bring blessings to everybody you meet. Health, love, and renewal to everybody you come across. Raw energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Your words are your power to transform, to love, and to bless. So be generous. Bless others and bless yourself. Love with the heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear. Forgiveness, not anger. And be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith, belief, and never accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel, others have felt. Whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together. We learn together. We help each other, because we are each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives. So find them. Tell them what they mean. And remember those great lessons in Noah, which gave us the laws of life until the Great Epiphany. These 7 universal laws, applicable to all, are easy. Embrace the relevance of oneness. Every life has purpose and meaning. And he saw himself and his children as the earth's stewards, having to care for it. Do not profane that oneness in any way. Do not damn or curse the power that conducts the universe, or deny that there is one. The value of human life cannot be measured, so do not murder. This force breathes within every human being. Each of us contains the soul of the universe. This is the divine image of God. How we exploit the resources of a world is we are told not to eat a limb of a living animal, because you cannot eat an animal that has lifeblood in it. So we wait for the symphony of life to unfold in every event, in every life, every creature. And infinite life exists, because the truth within each thing is divine. The 5th is about respect for property of others. So don't steal. And that includes do not diminish someone else. The 6th principle is about the human libido. There should be no incest, no rape, no adultery. The union of man and woman is part of a cosmic dance that reflects the union of heaven and earth, spiritual and material oneness and diversity. And of course, the last is ensure justice in our world. No other creature but man requires a court to enforce the law. Everything else knows its place in the universe. Only man can disrupt the nature of things and destroy that order, put it out of sync. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive, my friends. And keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. And think before you speak, because your words can empower and free you, but they can get you in trouble too. Listen to that voice of God. He's talking to you now. And when he calls you to go, cat, go, you better go. Hey, that sums up. You cannot lay around. Get off your butt. You can't do it sitting down. Don't say you can't. Can't never did a thing. If you can, you can. You can do anything. You gotta go, go, go. Go, cat, go. Well, thank you for joining me, my friends. Have a great week. Please keep exercising forgiveness. Be thankful, be gracious, be kind, be loving. Believe in yourself and in love, and continue to spread a little goodwill to the world. Never forget, you are the miracle in someone else's life. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care.